Well, right behind me is the all-new 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 Preferred all-wheel drive plus that has the Calligraphy Package. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jason and I do reviews on vehicles here in Canada, so reviews just like this. If you love car reviews, be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the different models you can get with the new Ioniq 9s, the safety features that you do get with this particular model here. This is the Preferred and it does have the calligraphy option added to this. Also, I'm going to talk about the exterior, of course, the interior, the infotainment system, and of course the pricing. And also thank you to Performance Hyundai Brampton for allowing me to review this beautiful and new Ioniq 9. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Hyundai EV lineup, this is their all new model, which is of course the Ioniq 9, and this is a 3-row SUV. All right, so as for the different models that you do get with the new Ioniq 9s, there's 3 models available, and also depending on the model that you do get, those will also have optional packages that you can add on. So the models that you would be looking to get is either the Essential, which is your rear wheel drive. There's also the Preferred, which is an all-wheel drive, and then there's the Preferred all-wheel drive plus. Now this one being the all-wheel drive plus, this one does have the $16,000 almost $17,000 calligraphy package that's added to this, so it's fully specced out. All right, now since this is a full EV, obviously there's no engine, but this one does have the 110.3 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is actually one of the largest in its segment and the largest for any Hyundai. In terms of the specs here, in terms of horsepower and torque wise, that will all depend which model that you do get, but for this particular one here, which is the all-wheel drive plus, you are looking at 422 horsepower and 516 pound-foot of torque. Now with the all-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive plus models, you are looking at towing capacity of about 5,000 pounds. And if you're wondering about the range on this, well, again, that will depend on which model that you do get. But again, with the all-wheel drive plus model here, you are looking at about 515 kilometers of range. Now, this does have the ultra-fast charging system, so the 800-volt architecture, which is paired with the 350 kilowatt charger. And if you're going from 10 to 80%, that's going to take you about 20 minutes. And for those harsh Canadian winters, these do have the heat pump system, so that is perfect for that. All right, let's start off in the front of this amazing Ioniq 9. I love the designing on this. And as I go around the vehicle and even inside, you'll notice all of those bits and pieces that they've added to this. So first off, starting off on your bumper area here, it's all body color, of course, and then you have like this aluminum trimming that circles like this lower grille area. You do have the front safety sensors that do run across, and then you pretty much just get into what would be your grille. Like all of this, you have kind of like this gloss or glass trimming. If I show you up close without my reflection, as you can see all right here, and then you have like the squared designing inside, and then you have this middle piece here, which is your sensor, and then a front facing camera right here, and then you go up into these beautiful pixelated lights. You'll notice this pixelated theme on this, on the exterior, even on the interior. I just love what they did with this. Like even if you come into like your light area, you have all of this here, all of the pixelated squares, you got them over here. Just looks very classy, I think, in my opinion, and very nice, especially when it's rolling down at nighttime. And then you just get into this massive pixelated bar area, and of course the ones right here and the top ones right there is your turn signal. So once those are turned on, those will obviously illuminate, but you have like this illuminated pixelated bar theme going on across the whole front of the vehicle. And in the center on the hood, you do have your Hyundai badging. And man, this front end actually doesn't look all that bad. I love the futuristic look and vibe that this gives off. All right, like any other EV, let's pop the hood or the frunk and see what we have going on underneath. Now, lifting this up, I love that you have space, even though it's not a whole lot like any other EV, of course, but you do get something. You can put like your charging cables in here, maybe small grocery bags or something. At least they give you space, and everything else is covered up nicely, so there's nothing being exposed. But I do like the front area in this. Okay, so since I mentioned this has the calligraphy package, I'm not going to bore you and list off every single thing on this. Instead, I'm going to put a screenshot up on the screen here, exactly what you get with that almost $17,000 package, and it's a ton of stuff. So do you think it's worth it? I don't know, let me know in the comments down below. But man, this does look amazing with that package added to this. And since we're on the side here, let's take a look at how the side profile looks. I love the look on this, how it kind of like raises and then just drops down. I love how this looks. It almost reminds me of like a station wagon in a way. And then if you take a look up top, you've got the full glass roof, of course, and then even up here, your roof rails, you have them in like this silver chrome aluminum finish, so that does go across the whole top on both the sides. And then even around the windows, you have a mixture of gloss black trimming and then more of like this satin aluminum trimming here. I really like that. It's nice and like subtle in a way, but that does carry over all the way to the rear. Now, as for the door handles, these are very nice. Right now the vehicle is unlocked, but when you do lock the vehicle, these do go inside and sit flush against the body. And even when you open this, like you have the body color here and then more of the aluminum here, and then it also says Ioniq 9. I really like the small detailing on this, and you'll notice this again on the exterior and even the interior. Now moving to your side mirror, again, this is body color here. You've got the built-in turn signal there and a side mirror camera. This has cameras all around, so I'm going to show you that once we go inside on the touchscreen. Now on the side here, I'm just going to quickly touch on what we have going on here. Now, to some people, this may just not be anything, but someone who likes attention to detail and looks at every nook and cranny, this is a very unique setup here. It almost looks like a very, very thick side skirt, in my opinion. Now you can't really tell because this vehicle is in black, but this trim piece right here is black. It's gloss black, and even in the rear, so you get this nice gloss black line around the vehicle, and then the bottom half is body color. And then even on like your fender, you have this cutout here as well. Like they could have just left it plain, but even adding small little things like this, I think goes a long way. Also up here, you will have your reflective light, and with the calligraphy package, you do get these beautiful 21-inch aluminum and gloss black wheels. I just love how these are designed, and I think they fit perfect with this particular vehicle, just the way that it's designed and shaped. So if I do take a step back, you can see they look pretty unique with this vehicle. And also, just like how the front had the reflector, you have it on the back here as well. And here's another look at that aluminum piece that was around the windows that kind of slopes up into the rear here. All right, as we make our way to the rear of the Ioniq 9, I think the back looks much more unique than the front. I don't know, just to me, and I'll touch on that in a second and why I think that. Now over on your bumper area here, you have your reflectives, which are also in like this pixelated design. You've got more of the chrome aluminum trimming that stretches across. You've got your reverse pixelated light in the center with more of the rear safety sensors that run across. And then you get into your tailgate. Now there's not a whole lot going on here. However, you will notice your rear backup camera, and then obviously here right next to it is your digital rear view mirror camera. And even the backup camera has a washer, which is good. And then you've got the Ioniq lettering, Ioniq 9 spelled out here in the back. And then here you have a Hyundai badge, but it's not like the front, it's almost like behind the glass inside. So a very unique touch on that. And then you get into these pixelated lights. Now they don't just go up to here, they go all around the vehicle. So this looks very, very different from the front, obviously, and this is the reason I think why I like the rear more than the front. But here's a close-up on all of the pixelated designing, the lights, everything that this has. Very, very nicely done on this. I think for a lot of people this may take some time getting used to in terms of like the way that this is designed, but I think this is very futuristic looking, very unique in its like own way compared to the other EV models that Hyundai offers. Now coming to the right side of the vehicle at the back, this is where you're going to find your charge port. So if you just press this, it opens up and you have all of your charging things right here. And then if you do want to, let's say, unlock it from the charge port, you press that. And then also if you want to close it, you just press that button. And another thing that this vehicle has is the vehicle to load, which you can pretty much run big and small items. So I really like that they incorporated that to this vehicle. And then as for your charge port, you can actually use this on a Tesla charger. And to close it, like I mentioned, you just press this and it closes. And also this vehicle in the rear does have the self-leveling rear suspension. All right, let's go ahead and open up the tailgate, because back here you've got a ton of things and it's very, very unique as well inside. So you just press this button right here. So as you can see, it's a power opening tailgate, obviously. But back here, you have a ton of room. Now, the third row seats are down right now. So just to give you an idea, if you're not using the third row seats, this is how much space opens up with those seats folded down. And obviously, you get this nice little privacy cover as well. And then your charging cable and other things like your tire mobility kit and whatnot. And these are just your mats over here. Now, I'm gonna bring the third row seats up so I can show you the exact cargo area if you are using the third row. So let me show you that. And as I show you this, I'm also gonna show you a unique way to bring them up, because this does have the power folding seats, which go down and back up. And just to touch on quickly these things here, no, these are not going to slide around because they do have Velcro underneath them, as you can see, so they just stick to the carpet. I really like that design, that you can just leave stuff up here in terms of these two bags and it's not going to slide around. Now to bring these up, you do have the controls over here. You have it for the second row and the third row. So I'm going to bring up the third row. I'm going to start with the left side. So if I just press it, up it comes, and same thing for the other side. Now, as these seats are coming up, I think having this feature in any vehicle is very, very convenient. Just press of a button, seats go down and come back up. Now that the third row seats are up, you can see really how much cargo room you have. And actually, it's not all that bad, because you do have like this little area here, and then on this side as well, that kind of like extends to the sides and opens it up a little bit. And then of course down here, if you do lift this area, you do have a little bit more cargo area down here. Not a full like sub trunk, what you would typically find on some vehicles, but you still have some space that you can definitely utilize. You've also got like these aluminum protectors, which are very, very nice. They just add to the look of this vehicle. Now in terms of back here, what you do get, you do have obviously this button here. This is for your tailgate. I do like how they have this little cover here, so you're not accidentally just pressing it. There's also a 12-volt socket back here, a light back here, and then obviously the light over here. Down here, you do have the 125-volt outlet, which if you just slide this over, it just covers it. So that's pretty neat. And then up here, like I mentioned, you do have the power seat controls. So for the third row and the second row. All right, let's head to the rear and take a look at what we have going on with this brand new Ioniq 9. First of all, as soon as you open the doors, the beautiful white and black interior pops out at you. I just love the way that this looks. Just wait until you see the interior. Now down here, you do have some storage space, your cup holder spot, and then you have a speaker here. This does have the Bose sound system, which I love. And again, more of the aluminum trimming that kind of goes around this whole section. And then you have the black hard material here, but then up here, it's kind of like hard, soft material. And then all of this is just white. It just screams out at you. I think it gives this vehicle that luxury touch as well. And if you look back here, you have some space obviously to open up your door and whatnot. You have two more cup holder spots. Got the window control here and a very unique looking door handle. And then you have all of like this section here. As you can see, it's almost like perforated sections with the nice designing. So I really like that they didn't just leave it plain. It just adds so much to the vehicle, even if it's small things like this. And also behind here, you can't really see, but you also have ambient lighting, so at nighttime this thing shines. And then you can't forget about your hater blockers that also come with this. All right, I'm gonna head inside now, and I'm gonna start off in the third row and then make my way to the second row. So in the third row, I'm going to show you the seats and whatnot and what it looks like. Also, I'm going to jump back there, show you the legroom and the headroom, and then the same thing for the second row. Now, how do you get back to the third row? Well, that's a good question, because it's very, very easy. All you have to do is just press this and the seat power moves forward. It doesn't just go quickly like typical vehicles. It just moves nice and slow, and then you can just get into the rear. So let me show you what this looks like. So I like how the interior is. It's not fully white, it's half white, half black. So I love that color combination that they've incorporated in this vehicle here. So the top half is black obviously, and then you have the perforated middle sections and then the white section, and then same thing, perforated middle sections on both of the sides there. Now something that I do like back here for the third row is that you have two seats. Now, why I like that is because you can fit 2 adults back here. You don't have the middle seat where one adult's sitting on this side and it's taking over half of the middle seat, which is a waste. So you really can't fit, adults back there perfectly. With this one, however, 2 adults back here, you are perfectly fine. But let's take a look at the legroom and the headroom. All right, so I'm back here. I'm gonna push that same button and the seat is gonna come back and go into its place. So let's see how much legroom I have left. And there it is. It stops right here. I still have a decent amount, and obviously I have this middle section here because this does have the captain's chair. So legroom wise, I am pretty comfortable, to be honest. And now in terms of the headroom, even though I'm wearing a hat, and for reference, I am 5'11", and look at all this space that I have. Just a ton of room. I think back here, 2 adults, long road trip, perfect. You're not gonna be miserable or anything. Also back here, you're gonna have another speaker here, and then you have these 2 buttons right here. That's because these third row seats, you can recline them and also bring them forward, obviously folding them down, but I do like how you can even recline them from back here, which is amazing. You've also got a USB port here, and then your cup holder spot, and then like this open storage area here. And then on the other side, it's identical. I really like that they did this, especially with the USB port, because sometimes a 3-row SUV will have it on one side but not the other, but everything on the other side you get on this side as well. The only thing or only difference on this side is you actually have 2 cup holder spots here. And also you'll notice the roof here, you've got this beautiful like carpet suede material. I just love the way that this looks and feels. And of course you have your massive glass that stretches to the front. All right, let's put the seat back and take a look at the beautiful captain's chairs that you do have with this. I think having captain's chairs, unless it's very necessary to have the bench seat here, captain's seats I think are amazing way to go. And just like the third row seats, these are obviously the same color combination. However, in the second row is where things get a little bit better, I think. On the seat here, you don't have perforated middle sections. Instead, you have these beautiful like lines and everything, all this patterning going on, and this nice cool little badging with, yes, you do have the perforated middle sections, but you get this beautiful design similar to how the doors are. And then you have like this perforated section off to the side here, and then of course your nice little badging on both of the sides. Even your headrests look very premium, and the rest of it is identical to the third row with the perforated full middle section here. But I really like this backing here, the way that they've designed this. It's so nice. And like I was mentioning, captain's chairs, which means you do get your very own armrests. And another benefit of having captain's chairs is, let's say you're sitting here, you can just hop on over to the rear if no one's back there. So that's another plus. Now, not only that, but another plus thing about the second row seats is not only do they come heated, but they're also ventilated. Now, another cool thing with this is the second row seats are power adjustable. Like, how nice is that? Obviously, you can move it back and forth, you can move it front and back. However, you've also got this. You can be so comfortable back here. It's like sitting in a Maybach, but fully electric in a way. That comes up, you can put this back if no one's in the third row, and you can just relax, go to sleep, be very comfortable. Also, one thing to note, this color combination for the interior, if let's say you do get this vehicle in white or the matte finish, you cannot pick from the dual tone interior. It's only black, but every other color you can get this interior. Also down here, you've got this very cool looking door sill piece that says Ioniq 9, and then more of the pixelated designing there. Now let me jump into the second row and show you the legroom and the headroom. All right, so entering back here, as you can see, I have a ton of room. There is no issue at all, even though this seat can probably be moved up, and I can even move this seat up as well, but I have a ton of room. And in terms of the headroom, just like the rear, a ton of headroom. Now, behind the driver and passenger seats, you do have the soft touch material here, and then the plastic trimming here. But then even on like your storage compartment little flap here, you have the hard soft material, and then of course you have your storage spot, which is on both the sides. Also on the seats here, you have USB ports on the passenger side and the driver side. Now you'll notice on the passenger side, you have these controls here, so you can actually adjust the seat of the passenger from back here. Now, back here on your rear console area, you will notice this here on the center armrest, which is typically obviously for the front. But if I just press this, I even have access to it from back here. How nice is that? So I can just stuff things in here. I don't have to bother anyone up front, and I can just close it. And then you have your typical heating and cooling temperature controls. And then here are your heated seats, vented seats for the second row, which is always a plus to have. And then down here, you've got like this little opening. So this whole thing opens up for extra storage. So you can just tuck things away and just hide them pretty much. All right, let's head to the front and see if there's anything different compared to the rear. It's identical to the rear, other than obviously your typical window controls, side mirror controls, and then here you have your driver memory seat controls, and this also has your massage feature. So you have a bunch of different ones that you can pick from, and I'll show you that inside. And this does have the 14 speaker Bose sound system. All right, let's check out the front seats here. These are identical to the second row seats with all of the nice designing, even this piece here, the perforated sections, the bottom section, and obviously the front seats also come heated and ventilated and with the massage feature like I was mentioning. Now down here on the side is where you will find all of your seat adjustment controls. You have the same footrest area here, just like the second row. However, you can get even more comfortable. So if I just press this, everything just moves. And obviously when you're stopped, this is when it works. So this tilts back so you can get a nice comfortable rest. If you're charging or if you're somewhere stopped overnight, you can just lay back and relax. And just like the rear, you've also got the door sill piece here. And then underneath, you have these premium looking foot pedals. And I also like how you have the plus and minus symbols on both of them. So it kind of tells you in a way, plus is to go, minus is to stop or slow down. Even your footrest area looks pretty premium. And then up here, you have a few controls. Here is your charge port opener. Here's how you open up your front area. Here's the tailgate button, traction control, electronic parking brake, and then your cluster dimmer. Even the venting on this, very sleek and thin, which I love, and more of that aluminum trimming, which you are gonna notice throughout the whole dashboard. So when I go to the passenger side, I will show you that. And then your steering wheel is power adjustable. All right, now as you enter inside of the Ioniq 9, your whole dashboard is in like this soft touch material, which stretches across obviously. You got a speaker here, speaker there, speaker in the center, and then two more on that side. And this has my favorite thing, which is the heads-up display, which is always, I think, a good thing to have in any vehicle. And then you get into this very nice, very clear, crisp, all of that good stuff. And this is your 12.3-inch fully digital cluster area. And you will notice you've got a speaker here on the corner as well. Very good. So on here, I just love how everything is laid out. And of course, you can go through a bunch of different menus and whatnot and really see what you want to see in front of you. And all of that is controlled through here. So if I just press this little pages, it's going to bring up this, so I can just scroll down and kind of go through those menus. And if I press it again, it's going to go to the next one. And then obviously this here. So a lot of different customizations that you can kind of go through, which I really like. Now, when I am on this screen here and I just press this little toggle in and hold it, it is going to bring up all of this. So your driver assistance, driver mode, all that good stuff. I am going to go over this once I come to the touchscreen here, but there's a lot of information that you can definitely view here. And not only do you get this beautiful screen, but it's meshed in with the touchscreen. So you get this beautiful like curve display, like one massive screen, which I love. Also, I forgot to show this in the video, but within the cluster area, within the gauges, whether you turn on your left turn signal or the right one, you will have this view here of the vehicle beside you or the road beside you. So it's very helpful. And then you move into your steering wheel. I really like the white and the black on this. Again, it goes with the seat theme and just the overall interior theme. This does come heated, which of course is a plus. You've got some black trimming on the sides here, more of the aluminum trimming here, and then your very unique looking lit up pixels. Now over on the left side here, you've got all of your cluster controls here. You have your cruise control settings, follow distance controls, lane keep, and then your volume, pause, all of that good stuff on this side. And then over here, you have your mode, so you can customize this to what you want anything to open up to. You got your Bluetooth, favorites, phone, and then you got more controls here, volume controls here. Now behind the steering wheel, you will notice paddle shifters on both of the sides. Typically with a EV, you only have it on this side, but here you have both plus and minus. And also back here, you have your lighting controls, high beams, indicators, all of that good stuff. And the other side has your front and rear wiper controls. And you will notice this right here. So this is to detect if you are not paying attention, drowsy and whatnot. This will alert you. And another unique thing, and well, I wish that they didn't add this part, but here is what your shifter looks like on the side here behind the steering wheel. So once your foot is on the brake, I'm just gonna try showing you. So once your foot is on the brake, you're gonna just twist it to put it into drive, just twist it up and then twist it all the way down to go to reverse, and then press in the corner here to park. This also has a start stop button. I wish that with all of EVs that you just put your foot on the brake, you're ready to go, you come to your destination, open up your door, the vehicle shuts off. Also, when you go ahead and turn off the vehicle, you get this nice sound that plays. So listen, so if I just press the on off button, and you get the nice little animations, and when you do start up the vehicle as well, nice animations, and that same sound that you heard when it turned off. So really like the animations and everything, along with the pixelated stuff. Very, very cool. And then you get into your armrest area. I touched on this a little bit in the rear, but you can obviously open it from up here as well. So it's opening both ways, the front and then the back as well. And then obviously the space in here, you do have a good amount of room in here to store small little things, phones, wallets, and all that good stuff. And then you get into your typical center cluster area, but this one is half, and I'm going to show you why in a second. But here you have your wireless phone charger, and even the rubber piecing on this is pixelated. And on this, again, the pixelated theme is throughout the vehicle. You've got your front cup holders, even inside here you've got the pixelated designing, and I really like the aluminum finish that this has all the way around. You've got a few controls here, so you have your auto hold, you have your different drive modes, different terrain modes, and then your hill descent control, your parking sensors to turn them on or off, and then your camera buttons. So I'm going to show you this before I get into anything else, just in case I don't forget. But if I do press this, it is going to pop up all of your cameras here. So here right now it's facing the front, so here's the front view, here's the bird's eye view. If I just click this, I can also see kind of like a top bird's eye of the front. If I go into it again, here's the typical front that I just shown you. Here is the front facing side cameras. If I do it again, and then you have a full wide view of the front here. It's the same thing for the rear. Here's the wide rear view Here is the top view, the bird's eye view, and then you have your typical rear view, and then here is the side cameras for the rear. And then here, if I just press this, you kind of have like a 360, which you can actually go around. And it is super, super sick that you can just go around like this. So if you're towing with this, or parking in tight spots, or going into tight little corners, this is very, very helpful. And then you have your settings here, which you can turn off, like parking distance warning, all the good stuff you can customize to your liking. And then here is what I was talking about. It's not a full center cluster area here, but it's kind of split in half. So you get this half here, and then you have this half. So down here, you have even more storage space. You have even more storage space right over here. You can put your key right here with the key symbol. And then even this has the aluminum finish, more USB ports here. And then here is your 12 volt socket. So if I just press this, it pops open. I really like the designing and finishing on this. Moving up here, here is a bunch of different things. So first off, underneath here is all of your heating and cooling temperature controls. Here you have your vented seat controls, heated seat controls for the driver's side. You've got the passenger side, and then your heated steering wheel right there. And then moving up here is all of your touchscreen controls. So you got your home, map, search, media, your hazards in the center, seek, track, favorites, and setup. And then obviously your knobs on the side. And then here is more of that beautiful aluminum finish that I was talking about on the dashboard. Now we get into your touchscreen. It's the same size as this. It is a 12.3 inch touchscreen here. So on here, you can do quite a few things. Now, this is what this looks like right here, but then you can go this way if you just swipe to the left here. So you have a map section, FM, and then EV. It tells you exactly how much battery percentage you have left. And then you can go into your other EV stuff and just a whole bunch of stuff. I think it's laid out perfectly. And then obviously if you just swipe over, you have your first page of things and then another page. So let's go to this page here. The first section here is your phone section, once you do have it connected, of course. Next is the phone projection. So you have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Once again, when you do have those paired with the vehicle, you've got voice memo, And then if you go into seats here, you've obviously got the warmers, which you can control for the rear. And also what I like is even the ventilation I can control. So heating and cooling, I can control for the second row seats. And if I just click this middle button right here, I can even adjust the rear seats. And from here, I can fold the second row seats and the third row seats, not only down, but up as well. So I really like that functionality. Not only do you have the buttons in the trunk, but the controls on the front touchscreen here. And then let's go back to the home page. Swipe over here. Next is just your weather app, and then you have your settings section. Here it breaks down even more things that you can kind of go in and fine tune. You do have 2 pages really to go through a bunch of different stuff. So first off, I'm just gonna go on the vehicle section. So here you have your driver assistance, so all of your safety features in this. Like I was mentioning, when I pressed this scroll wheel here, it popped up this menu. So you have your driver assistance, so all of that is through here. You've got different drive modes here, active sound design, climate, just a bunch of different things. And even under lights here, you have your ambient lighting like I was mentioning. So you can change the brightness and whatnot. And then of course you have your different colors. So that's really nice, and even digital keys through here. And then if we just go back and to the other menu, so here you have your drive mode, and again it brings it up in the same menu, so I already showed you that. And then you have like all these other small little ones that you can kind of customize to your liking. And then same thing here, more things you can adjust. If I go back to this page, and then finally the second page, you have valet mode, vehicle diagnostics. So if I just click into that, this is going to ask for your blue link stuff like that, but I'm just going to press no for now. You have service maintenance, HD radio data, notifications, and your online manual. So a very easy to use system and layout. Once you do get used to it, everything is just so simply laid out. All right, now let me show you the massage feature that I was talking about. So if I just press this button here, this is what pops up. So you have the pelvic, lumbar, and whole body, or just completely turn it off. So if I go to settings here, it is going to pop up the menu here. So if I go to comfortable stretch, here you can see the intensity, session length, and then if I head back, there's also the smart posture assist. And I think this is very unique because after about an hour of driving, it'll adjust the hips and waist so you're not slouching or anything. So it'll kind of remind you every hour. And then you have the lumbar stabilization system while driving. You can set the timer and whatnot. But yeah, I really like that you have all of these different options on this. Very, very nice. Now, moving up top here, you have your rear view mirror. Not only that, like I was mentioning, it's also a digital rear view mirror. And then if we move further up here, you have a few controls. You have your interior lighting controls, your sunroof controls, sunshade controls, and then your SOS, and then your roadside as well. So all that good stuff is through here. And here is the key fob for the Ioniq 9, your typical Hyundai key. You've got your usual stuff here, and then I like how you have stuff on the side. And this even has the controls, which you can move the car forward and backwards from the side here, which is very, very cool. All right, coming around to the passenger side here. Now, let me show you the dashboard on this. Not only do you have the beautiful aluminum trimming, but then you have this very, very nice trimming with the nice designing, and you can see kind of the ambient lighting there, and it says calligraphy right there. This trim piece by far is my favorite in this vehicle. I do wish that they used more of it. It stands out a lot. And then this whole thing here, you have your thin venting, and then down here you just have your typical glove compartment space. Now, there was no window sticker that I could get for this vehicle, but here it is online when you do build it out. Here you can see once you do build it out, this does come out to about $85,000, and obviously this is plus tax, and this may be minus any discounts if they are available. Well, that does it for the review on this all new 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 Preferred All-Wheel Drive Plus with the Calligraphy Package. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this beauty.